I'm going to go ahead and put the spotlight on you. You guys can begin.
All right. Good evening and welcome to our Meet the Candidates. Currently available, we wanted to provide our community with an opportunity to learn a little about each of our candidates to assist you in making a choice during our upcoming voting process. We'll begin the evening with each candidate sharing a 2-minute biographical overview. We then will have 2 prepared questions that each candidate will have the opportunity to answer. We'd also love to take questions from our community members. At any time, you may type in a question to the email address comments@marcellaschools.org. We'll be checking it and we'll share your questions with the candidates so that they can provide their answers.
My name is Jess DiOrio, and I have the pleasure of introducing each of our 4 candidates. It's Sean Eady.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Eady, and I'm running for a position on the school board. I currently live, obviously, in Marcellus with my wife, Diane, and my 3 boys, Garrett, Connor, and Jameson. Garrett's going into 6th grade next year, Connor in 4th, and I have 1 more year before Jameson joins the kindergarten Mustang group. I have served the last 3 years on our PTO for KCH, where the last 2 years I've had the pleasure of serving as president. And through that time, we have really grown the parent involvement. We've increased with more events for our students and for our families. And we've increased generating more fundraising opportunities, and we were able to grow the money that we were bringing in to further support our families and throughout the course of the year, especially now with the pandemic. I had the pleasure of serving, working as the Director of Residence Life and Student Leadership and Engagement at Onondaga Community College. I've been with the college now for 3 years. First, I started off as an academic advisor. Then I transitioned just to the student leadership engagement, and now I have the wonderful opportunity to serve both our residential and our community population. Through my time at the college, I have really been able to see the growth of the college and a different student perspective, where prior I worked at traditional 4-year institutions, and really have been able to look at my role and the way I support our students, and I think how that might translate into the school board position. Besides the opportunity on the PTO, I have been able to serve our district on the mission, vision, and values committee as well on your day to come watch us.
Thank you, Sean. And now we welcome Mike Harvard to share a little bit about his background.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Harvard. I've lived in the district now for 12 years. My wife, Jennifer, we have our kids, Joey and Michaela. They're currently 9th and 4th grade. I've been running pizza shop for 20 years. I work with a lot of kids and teaching them how to do different tasks. And I feel that seeing how they develop and how they learn at doing those things, I understand how the kids work. I also am on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce in Skaneateles, and on the board of directors for Laker Limo Transportation, which helps senior citizens get to where they got to go. That's about it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce Christine Shea to share a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Christine Shea, and I have lived in Marcellus for about 21 years. My husband, Tom, and I moved here for my job with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, and we knew we needed to live in the Syracuse area, but we kind of stumbled upon Marcellus, and we are so grateful that we did. It has been such a gift to live here in Marcellus and this wonderful community, and to raise our boys here. My oldest son, Aiden, is a graduating senior, and all of the coaches that he has had through cross country and baseball. And a few weeks ago, we had the another wonderful parade. I know Michelle was part of that, and Margie Wenzel was part of that. And we're so grateful for all the wonderful experiences that our children have had here. I served on the KCH Ice Cream Social Committee previously, and I have done some other work with the Booster Club over the years, and have always tried to be a part of the school, and have really had great experiences in all the committees that I've served on. Currently, I'm a school counselor at Liverpool School District. I work in an elementary building. Serving as an elementary school counselor is really a nice mix, and I'm excited for this opportunity. And I'm so excited that there's so many kids.
Hi, I'm Margie Wenzel. I'm running for re-election. I have lived in Marcellus for the past 16 years. I'm married. My husband's name is Dave, and we have 3 daughters. Bailey is 25. Abby is 23 and Grace is 20. So they're all Marcellus graduates of 2012, 14, and 17. From the time we moved to Marcellus, I was involved in various activities. I chaired several events throughout the years. I'm a volunteer coordinator for the district-wide ice cream social. Just is wherever I could be helpful, I tried to be involved. So when Grace was graduating from high school, I thought that that would be a perfect time to continue my involvement with Sean. And I tried to volunteer for as many opportunities as possible. I just think it's imperative to stay connected with our community and with the students. Since I don't have kid houses, I not only to stay connected with the children and the families, but also to know the staff and the atmosphere of the buildings. So career-wise, I'm a dental hygienist. I work for Dr. Fallon and Camillus. I've been there for 15 years. And I also founded the Syracuse Area Dental Hygiene Study Club, which I'm an administrator of. And it's a great way to connect with my peers. So I just like to stay involved. And since I'm an empty nester, I have to have something to do. And my way to spend my time, I choose to devote it to our community and to our children. So I thank you for this opportunity.
This evening, we ask that you be brief but thorough with your responses. We're going to start with Sean Eady. The first question is, what has drawn you?
I think with my involvement with the district, I have seen the tremendous and amazing work that our faculty, our teachers, and administrators have done, just for our family personally, but also for the district, particularly during this pandemic, the amazing work that they've done in pulling the resources together and their response and outreach. With being already involved and connected and being able to see a lot of those inner workings, I want to get involved further to further support our community, to support our students. I believe that the work that I'm doing at the college level, I can really bring a different perspective to what college students need and how to best prepare our students to go out to go to college or go into the workforce. Education is very important to our family. We believe every child has the right and should have the opportunity for the best education possible. And I believe Marcellus is doing that for our students. And how can we further support any student that comes through?
With working with kids for so long and seeing how kids that, when they're young teenagers and how they can develop and one may figure out one way, one figures out another way, and they end up being able to do the tasks. And I've helped evaluate and work them through those kind of situations. I feel like we can look at what we could do as a district to help kids differently in each one's different situation. And then also with running business for 20 years, looking at budgets, all that sort of thing, where spending is going. And I've experience on multiple boards and multiple budgets and looking at different aspects of what everything has to be done and what can be done with those boards. Just gives me the experience to look at things from a whole perspective.
Okay.
So I think you're welcome.
Are you done?
Yep, done.
And Christine, you're next.
Thanks. Yes, so for me, I think that, first I have to share, and so I think I would forever feel guilty if I did not mention that. But as far as why I'm running because, I really feel passionate about giving back. We have received so much from the community as a whole, from the school district, and I think it's time for me to give back and serve in that way. And I think what I have to offer is that in my work in Liverpool, for students within the district, and I think that that's something that I can certainly contribute to. And then also, I've worked with kids and understanding that all kids have different needs, and that really, in order to educate the whole child, understanding, meeting them where they're at, and gently supporting them and encouraging them to where they need to be, is something that I think I can also bring to the board. So, thank you.
Oh. Wow. Thank you, Christine. And Margie.
About that. I am running for re-election basically to continue my involvement, and as I said previously, I've always been involved in a lot of activities, and I've always gone to board meetings. I thought I knew what it entailed, not being informed. So I like to do my homework. I ask questions. I probably too much sometimes, but I think that I bring a view to the table a little differently since I've been through it. I understand some challenges. I remember the elementary years. I remember the high school year. Education is very important. Every child is different. And I'm just passionate about finding a way to make all of the students succeed. And whether it be workforce, career learning, all the different aspects. So I think that I can contribute just by staying involved and staying the course of what I've done for the past few years.
Thank you, Margie. Sean, we'll go back to you in overcoming these hurdles.
I think the first and foremost is going to be budget. With the pandemic and the impacts of the pandemic on education as a whole, it's definitely going to be a budgetary concern. From the college standpoint, we're facing it as well, and how to stretch every dollar that we have and that we receive from the state and other entities. I'm not knowing all the sectors and how those financials work. I know that's Mr. Do every day. I always have, each year my budget gets smaller and smaller, so I have to do more with less. And I'm very conservative in my spending, and so looking at our regular spending and where we can be a little bit more conservative. My budget for the following fiscal is going to be a little bit smaller. I take that little reserve that I've been able to kind of nest away and put that money towards an expenditure for next year, again, knowing that my budget's going to be but smaller. So I think taking some of the principles and practices that I do to my everyday job for two different departments, and how something that maybe someone hasn't thought of. I'm sure that they've thought of everything, but maybe just a new set of eyes looking at those to make suggestions on potential cost savings.
Thank you, Sean. Mike, we ask you the same question.
Sean said it perfectly with the budget. I guess the only other things would be all of the sanitizing, all the health stuff that's going to have to be done, figuring out all that seems to be what's looking like going to be logistically how everything's going to lay out. I guess there's not really a lot more to be said about it. it's going to be a tough thing to figure out, and how everything's got to be played out with it.
All right, thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Christine?
Yes, thanks. I think, again, our largest time away from school impacted children. How has it impacted families? We don't really know exactly, where kids are at. There may be kids and families who are experiencing some anxiety around that way. And in regards to budget, my business background will be helpful in that. I certainly had the budget within my region that I had to manage. So I'm familiar with that. Another interesting, in preparing for this, I was reviewing a lot of the budget minutes and the videos, and listening to all of that, I could see that there may be an opportunity for us as a district to increase our state aid. Anthony had mentioned that there is opportunities, perhaps there might be some discrepancies where there's some districts that look a lot like ours, and we don't necessarily get the same amount of state aid. There is some really unusual thing they can to tap into all of that state aid that we can. But I think for me personally, that's something I'm interested in learning more about is, are there things that we can do to increase that state aid? Because certainly that is something that would be helpful. Again, going forward, this is new times, and, the state as a whole is, the spending could be different, but those are the big points that I have to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my opponents spoke very eloquently about the same thing. Responsibility, especially for state aid, and what regulations that we'll have coming up. There's going to be a lot of logistics with COVID regulations that I think will take a lot of brainstorming. I think that I agree with, we need to delve into legislative forums as well and continue that advocacy too. I just think it's very important to keep advocating for our students and for Marcellus. Like Christine said, the formulas for state aid is just so bizarre and different, and we really do need to stay on that. I feel that Marcellus and me personally, I'm probably a more fiscally conservative person. We can figure out ways to do more with less, yet maintaining the quality of our district. We're surrounded by high quality districts, and when it comes down to our property values, our schools are a great asset for us. So, it really helps our community for us to have high functioning schools, which we would like to maintain. So I just think that we're going to have a lot of hurdles in the next few years, and I'm dedicated to working and overcoming those.
Thank you, Margie.
Okay, we can now entertain questions that have been sent in by community members that are viewing the event. If you have a question to submit, you can go to comments@marcellusschools.org.
Rebecca, could you just repeat that one more time?
Yes. What do you feel is Marcellus School District's strongest feature, and which areas do you think need improvement?
Our greatest feature is the staff. I have seen amazing work come out of our district, the support for the students, the outreach. Again, going back to the pandemic, our faculty, the teachers and staff reaching out to students and to the families, their dedication to success, knowing what's really important and what to push, and what are the areas that we could say, okay, that's something that we can maybe slow down a little bit on. The dedication, the outreach, that has happened. I think that's one of our greatest assets. The size of our district, to be able to give such individualized attention to the students, to make it impactful and an impactful education. And then, as Margie indicated, some of our surrounding districts. So I think academically, we were very competitive against some of those other neighboring districts. You know, and I think the communication that comes from out of the district, you know, from Mrs. Brantner, the daily or weekly updates that are provided around the pandemic and kind of where we are, is great. Areas to improve. The only thing I can really say, and it's really nothing large, is maybe identifying additional communication modalities for our families, knowing that some of our families maybe don't have easy access to internet and email. We experience that, you know, through the PTO, that whatever we do, we have to try to find additional ways to connect with our students and our families. And by no means, I think our district is doing well, but I think communication is always going to be something that we could all work on and increase, especially given our current circumstances. Our communication style is very different, and we continue to get better. And I think the bar was raised when we went into the pandemic, and I think the district jumped way over that bar that was set.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move to Mike.
Yeah, our staff and everything at the school is great. The administration, everyone does a really well job with communicating with everyone. I guess improvement wise, looking into like what more we can do for students, I guess, would be building on their strengths. What can each kid get to develop better, and it's going to help them get through school easier, and keep them still at that same level that they should be at. Yes.
All right, thank you, Mike.
That's it. Yep.
On to Christine.
So yeah, I think I have to, echo what Sean mentioned, that certainly our staff is our greatest asset in a lot of ways. But in conjunction with that, our student population, they are engaged, they are, kind and compassionate, and they are involved in community activities. Certainly administration is strong leadership. And also, just the idea that, there's this little village, and within the village is this beautiful school. We're all on one campus, and, all of the families that I have worked with and engaged with really understand and appreciate the importance of good education. And, certainly that is something that is of huge value to our students and to the families. And then my youngest son was going into kindergarten, and I really felt like I had a very good handle as a parent and as a student myself, when I had gone through school, of what really happened in the school. But as I began working in the school and more years, I can see that there continues sometimes to be sometimes a disconnect. And I'm sure that we have open, transparent communication at all levels is something that, we can always do better at every.
Thank you. I have to agree. I think that our strengths are the people, are from administrative to staff, every department, our students. The students continue to impress me, and our community. Our community really supports the district. You see on Facebook, somebody puts on there that they need 20 bins, and next thing you know, they have 20 bins. That's a gift. It's really fantastic. As far as weaknesses, I don't think it's fair to say this is a weakness, but we have added the ag department, the ag teacher. I think that has opened up so much to so many different students. I think that we're expanding and opening the eyes of our children of what is out there. And, rather than, I think for a long time, it's where are you going to college, rather than now where what do you want to do in the future? And I think that we're on the right track with that. One other thing that when Christine was talking about that we're all on one campus, school children really need to make their presence known and help younger kids to see the older kids and they want to be like them. I think that's a fantastic thing. So I would like to see us kind of interweave a little bit more so.
Okay. We don't have any. 4 candidates, John, Mike, Christine, and Margie, for taking this must be returned either via the mail or in the ballot drop box that's located in the main foyer at DMS. No later than 5 p.m. on June 9th. We thank you again and stay healthy.